Hey Scouters, this is Cowboy 713 out here at beautiful Canyon Lake. We're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a video on how to do some pin rigging. Now this is something you would normally find people doing down on on the coast off the piers for kingfish and shark and tarpon, down in Corpus, Galveston, Port Aransas, but it works just fine doing it in freshwater too. What you're going to start off with is you're going to have some rod you can cast a long distance. The aim of this is so you can get your bait out a long distance away without having to cast your actual bait very far. Now I've got my surf rod here, it's rigged up with a 5-ounce weight. I'm going to go ahead and cast that out. That would have been a lot better had I not fallen. Now you just let your weight go all the way down to the bottom, which we're looking at about 60 feet in front of where I'm standing right now. Alright, it's all the way on the bottom. So we're going to let out a little bit of line, a little bit more line out. Give me some slack going here. You'll see why this is important in just a second. Okay, so we'll set our rod up in the rod holder. We've got our slack line looped right there. Now we're going to come on over here to our second rod. Now, the way this works is this is the rod that actually has the bait on it. That's just a weight and a line to get your bait out. Now you're going to have this little setup here. It's a clip with, this has some 40-pound steel wire, rigging wire, with a 1-ounce weight and a little bead right here to keep it all together. And the way this works is you pinch these two lines, or these two wires together, and your swivel from the line that has the bait on it slips over that and it holds it. And you will clip this clip onto your fishing line on your main rod and slide your bait out. So you can cast a delicate bait like a minnow out a long way without actually having to cast it and worrying about losing your bait. So right here we have our minnow rig. This is just a double drop minnow rig. It's got a little weight on the bottom to keep the minnows down. But as you see right here, we're going to take these wires and pinch them together, and you're just going to slide them through the holes in your swivel right there. And they just pop out like that. See how this hangs? But if you pull on it, it will release the swivel. That way when you do get a fish on, it just pulls this line straight out of this little clip and you're just fighting the fish. This is a very, very popular rig down on the coast with guys fishing for kingfish, tarpon and stuff. Like I said, if you just pull on this line, that clip comes free. So give me a second here, we'll go ahead and throw a couple minnows on this rod. We got one. Oops. Another one. Just hooked them through the back so they can swim a little bit. We'll retie our bag here so we don't lose the rest of our minnows. Okay, minnows can hang out there for a few minutes. We're just going to come right on over here. At this point, we put our clip through the swivel. Make sure it's attached in there so it'll hold it, see? And now this is where that slack line that I took out of the main line earlier comes into play. You unloop that, and now you take your snap that's on your pin rig, pop it on there. Oop. My clip came out. Smaller beads work better on these pins, but I forgot to bring the smaller ones. Oops. Get these guys back together. Okay. Now all you do is you've got your clipped rig out here on the side. Reel on the slack line off of this rig. I'll reel the rest of the slack all the way in later. And then you just start letting out your line on your baited rig. Get my minnows in the water here. You reel out your slack line, that way your line is tight. You just let your baited rig slide on down your main line. Just keep it sliding, sliding, sliding. At this point I can even mount that in the rod holder. And make sure this line is all the way up, as high and as tight as it'll go. It's a maximum distance on this rig. Slides on out there. But now I just put my minnows, you know, a good 50, 60 yards out without ever having to cast them and worrying about them coming off the line. So that's basic introduction to pin rigging. Remember, it can be used for just about any type of fishing you want to do, saltwater or freshwater. Keep real, Scouters.